The little girl proudly showed Jackie drawings the other children had made of their families. Mama, everyone lives with their grandmas and grandpas. I want to see mine too. Her words touched Jackie deeply. She felt bad for not visiting her hometown, always blaming her job, even though her mom lived alone. Ashley had her own life and couldn't always be there for their mother either. That night, after putting Lillian to sleep, Jackie called her mom for the first time in a while. "Jackie, how have you been?" Her mother's voice was still full of warmth. "I'm good, Mom. Lillian really wants to see you. I'm thinking of bringing her to visit soon." "That's wonderful. You're both always welcome. The roses are looking lovely this year. I'd love to show them to Lillian." After the call, Jackie felt a deep longing for home. She also felt bad for keeping Lillian away from her grandma for so long. She made up her mind. Once things at work calmed down, they would go. A week later, Jackie asked her boss for some time off. Luckily, a big project had just ended and she easily got 5 days approved. She booked their flight and told her mother, who sounded thrilled on the phone. "You're really coming. I'll get Lillian's room ready. I even bought a doll I think she'll love." Hearing her mom so happy reminded Jackie how much she missed her family. When she told Ashley the news, her sister said, "It's been ages since we were all together. My kids are excited to meet their cousin." The day before the trip, Jackie and Lillian packed their bags. Lillian happily filled her small suitcase with stuffed animals and her favorite books. "Mama, do planes fly above the clouds?" "Yes, and when you look down, the buildings look tiny." "You said Grandma has a garden, right? Are the flowers blooming?" Jackie nodded with a smile. "Yes, the roses are in full bloom. Grandpa planted them." Lillian's face lit up. "Can I meet Grandpa too?" "Grandpa is in heaven now. But when you see the flowers, you can think of him." As Jackie explained her father's passing, she also thought about visiting his grave. It had been a long time. The headstone was probably covered in moss, and it must be hard for her mom to carry the heavy flower pots alone. The following morning, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport was bustling with travelers, even at an early hour. Lillian was extremely excited about her first airplane ride and skipped down the path to the boarding gate. "Mama, are we going on that big airplane?" "That's right. That airplane will take us to Grandma's." Once inside the aircraft, Lillian sat by the window, mesmerized by the view outside. Although she felt a little scared during takeoff, she cheered with joy once they were above the clouds. "Mama, look. The clouds look like cotton." Watching her daughter's innocent joy, Jackie's thoughts of home intensified. 3 years was a long time that accounted for most of her daughter's life. To Lillian, her grandmother was just a gentle voice on the other end of the phone. Would this visit allow them to create real family bonds? When the airplane reached cruising altitude, the flight attendants began serving drinks. Lillian chose orange juice and sipped from the small cup as if it were precious. "Mama, what kind of person is Grandma? Is she nice?" "She's a very kind person. When you were born, she came to the hospital every day and helped choose your name." "Really? Did Grandma think of the name Lillian?"
Yes.
"Grandma hoped that you would grow up to be a wise and kind woman, so she suggested that name." Lillian beamed with satisfaction. "I can't wait to meet Grandma." After a 2.5-hour flight, the airplane landed at a small airport in the Midwest. This airport, which Jackie had known since childhood, seemed surprisingly small compared to Seattle's large airport. As they retrieved their luggage and made their way to the rental car counter, Jackie inhaled the familiar air of her hometown. The rental car was a white sedan, and she secured Lillian in the child seat before entering their family home's address into the GPS. It was about a 30-minute drive. "Mama, is this the town where you were born?" "That's right. This is where Mama lived when she was little." As they drove, Jackie noticed changes in the town. A new shopping mall had appeared, and some of the small shops she remembered had closed. She could sense the passage of time. However, once they entered the residential area, the same peaceful atmosphere from her childhood surrounded them. That's the elementary school where Mama went. Children were playing in the schoolyard, reminding Jackie of her own childhood. the road she walked to and from school with Ashley, the afternoons spent with friends, and how her mother would greet her with homemade cookies when she returned home. As they approached the family home, Jackie's heart began to race. Familiar houses lined Maple Street, one after another. The Johnson house next door had a new flower bed in the garden, and the Miller house across the street appeared freshly painted. Almost there, Lillian. When we turn that corner, you'll be able to see Grandma's house. Lillian leaned forward with excitement. Which one? Which one is Grandma's house? When they turned the corner, the familiar two-story house came into view. White exterior walls with a blue roof and the treasured rose garden. The house where Jackie was born and raised stood there, almost unchanged from her memories. When they parked in front of the house, Lillian leaned out the window to gaze at it. Mama, it's such a lovely house. There are so many flowers blooming in the garden. Indeed, the rose garden was beautifully maintained, with red, pink, and white roses in full bloom. It was impressive that her mother could manage it so well by herself. Even though 10 years had passed since her father's death, the garden retained the same beauty as when he was alive. Jackie turned off the engine and took a deep breath. This was her hometown for the first time in 3 years, and her family home for the first time in 3 years. What kind of expression would her mother have when they met? Would Lillian like her grandmother? Come on, Lillian. Let's go meet Grandma. As they stepped out of the car, the nostalgic scent of her hometown filled her senses, the aroma of dinner wafting from neighboring houses, the fragrance of garden flowers, and the familiar air of the town she had known since childhood. Everything felt just as it had in her memories. Lillian held Jackie's small hand while looking up at the house with shining eyes. Mama, I'm a little nervous. It's okay. Grandma loves you very much. Just as Jackie reached for the doorbell, the front door of the neighboring house opened. Oh, Jackie. Turning toward the familiar voice, she saw Mrs. Brown waving with a bright smile. She was the neighborhood fixture who had been close to their family since Jackie was a child. With her white hair neatly permed and wearing a floral house dress, she looked just like Jackie remembered. Mrs. Brown. It's been so long, Jackie said happily, walking toward the boundary line between their gardens and pulling Lillian along. Mrs. Brown hurried over and warmly embraced Jackie. It really has been so long, 3 years since we last saw each other. You've grown into such a woman. Thank you. This is my daughter, Lillian. Lillian shyly hid behind her mother, but politely bowed her head. What a lovely child. Helen showed me your pictures, but you're even more beautiful in person. Mrs. Brown knelt down to Lillian's eye level and smiled gently. Lillian, dear, you must be excited to see Grandma.
Yes.
Mama told me lots of stories about Grandma. Mrs. Brown laughed joyfully at Lillian's response. You came to see your mother? Yes, it's our first time back home in 3 years, Jackie replied. Mom is really looking forward to seeing her granddaughter. At that moment, Mrs. Brown's expression shifted. Deep wrinkles formed between her brows, and she looked puzzled. She glanced toward the house, and then back at Jackie. Jackie. Her voice became small. But no one has lived there for a long time now. Jackie was confused and couldn't understand what the woman was saying at first.
What?
Your mother Helen doesn't live there anymore either. What are you talking about? Jackie's voice rose in disbelief. I just spoke with my mother yesterday. She said the roses in the garden were blooming beautifully. Mrs. Brown looked at the house again, concern etched on her face. But really, no one has lived there for over a year now. The garden maintenance is handled by a service company. Jackie felt her heart race violently. Her hands trembled, and she suddenly felt short of breath. Lillian noticed her mother's distress and looked up worriedly. That can't be right. Jackie pulled out her smartphone and searched for her mother's number with shaking fingers. I'll call Mom right now. As the phone rang, Jackie's mind was in chaos. There was no reason for Mrs. Brown to lie. She had always been honest and kind. But she had definitely spoken with her mother just yesterday and the day before. Hello, this is Helen. The moment she heard her mother's familiar, gentle voice, Jackie felt slightly relieved. Mom, did you move? What are you talking about? I'm in the same house as before. What's wrong, Jackie? Her mother's voice sounded just as it always had. She seemed confused, but there was no hint of a lie. But Mrs. Brown says no one lives there anymore. Mrs. Brown. Confusion mixed into her mother's voice. She's been getting a bit senile lately. Sometimes she says strange things.
Don't worry about it.
After hanging up, Jackie stared at Mrs. Brown. The woman was certainly elderly, and her memory might be fading, but her expression was filled with conviction. Mama, what's wrong? Lillian tugged anxiously at her mother's sleeve. It's okay, Lillian. There's just a little confusion. Jackie smiled to reassure her daughter, but an inexplicable anxiety was spreading in her heart. She had definitely heard her mother's voice. Yet Mrs. Brown's account was also convincing. The story about service companies maintaining the garden was too specific. Mama, over there. Suddenly, Lillian pointed to the side of the house. When Jackie looked, she saw a woman hurriedly walking from behind the house with shoulder-length brown hair, dressed in a navy suit. The woman was familiar to Jackie. It was Ashley, her sister, who appeared agitated, looking very different from her usual calm self. Her eyes were wide, and her mouth opened and closed in confusion, as if she had encountered someone unexpected. Jackie, why are you here? Ashley's voice was strained as she rushed toward Jackie, but her steps seemed unnatural.
Why?
I came home to see Mom. I contacted you yesterday, didn't I? Yes, but Ashley was at a loss for words. Mom is well. Ashley, where is Mom? Jackie's voice sharpened. Mrs. Brown says no one lives here, but Mom answered the phone. Ashley's face drained of color. She looked around as if searching for a way to escape. I'll explain, so please calm down. Calm down. Jackie's voice was rising. What are you going to explain? Where is Mom? Lillian felt uneasy about the tension between the two adults and clutched Jackie's hand tightly. Mama, I'm scared. It's okay, Lillian. Jackie pulled her daughter close while glaring at her sister. Ashley, explain right now. Ashley took a deep breath, her hands shaking and sweat forming on her forehead. Mom is... Her voice trembled quietly. Mom is at Sunnydale Care. Sunnydale Care? What's that? It's a nursing home. Ashley's words weighed heavily. She's been living there for a year. Jackie was speechless. A nursing home for a year, and she hadn't been informed at all. Why didn't you tell me? Jackie's voice shook with emotion. It's complicated. It needs explanation. Mrs. Brown watched their exchange with a confused expression. Lillian sensed her mother's distress and began to cry softly. Lillian, could you play in Mrs. Brown's garden? Jackie gently suggested. We need to have an adult conversation. Mrs. Brown, sensing the situation, extended her hand. Of course, dear. Lillian, let's go look at the flowers. Lillian looked up anxiously at her mother, but eventually took Mrs. Brown's hand. After confirming that the two had entered the garden, Jackie faced her sister. Why did you hide the fact that Mom was in a nursing home for a whole year? Ashley bit her lip. I'll explain, so please listen calmly. You want me to calm down? I've spent this past year not even knowing where Mom was. Jackie's voice trembled. But I heard Mom's voice on the phone. That was a recording. A recording? Jackie was stunned. I recorded Mom's voice and played it back during our calls. At first, she was talking, but after her dementia progressed. Dementia? Jackie was taken aback. Mom has dementia? It started mild, but around last summer, it suddenly got worse. Ashley's voice quieted. It became dangerous for her to live alone. She would forget to turn off the stove and wander around the neighborhood. Then why didn't you tell me? I'm her daughter, too. I had the right to know. Ashley looked away. It was complicated. The nursing home fees are not cheap. Maintaining the family home costs money, too. So what? You're in Seattle, and I seemed busy. Ashley's excuse felt unconvincing. I didn't want to be a burden. Jackie stared into her sister's eyes. She was hiding something, and Jackie was sure of it. Tell me the truth, Ashley. What about Mom's savings? Ashley's face turned pale. What are you talking about? You've been withdrawing money from Mom's bank account, haven't you? As a bank employee, it would be easy for you. I wouldn't do such a thing. Don't lie to me. Jackie's voice was loud now. You were planning to sell the family home too, weren't you? Ashley stepped back. How did you? The truth was becoming clear, and Jackie's anger peaked. You were taking advantage of Mom's dementia to freely use her money. That's not true. Ashley tried to argue, but her voice cracked. The nursing home fees are too expensive. It's $4,000 a month. That's something the whole family should support together. You're far away and don't understand the reality. I have 2 children. I have a mortgage. My husband's salary alone isn't enough. That doesn't mean you can take Mom's money without permission. It's not without permission, Ashley shouted. I have power of attorney. Power of attorney? Ashley fell silent, but it was already too late. Don't tell me you forged it. Jackie's voice was quiet now, beginning to realize the most frightening truth. I got her signature properly before Mom's dementia progressed. You mean you made her sign it when she couldn't understand? Ashley remained silent, and that silence was her answer. What else is there? The will too. Jackie, you don't understand how hard it is to look after Mom every day. Look after? Jackie scoffed. You put her in a nursing home and stole her money. That's looking after her. I didn't steal. I was just managing the family assets. Managing. Jackie's voice trembled. You kept lying to keep me away, and probably told Mom that Jackie is too busy to visit, didn't you? From Ashley's expression, it was clear Jackie had hit the mark. Mom must resent me, thinking her daughter won't even come to visit. That wasn't my intention. Not your intention? Jackie's anger erupted. You left Mom alone for a whole year, didn't tell me anything, and used her money however you pleased. From nearby, Lillian's laughter rang out. Mrs. Brown seemed to be teaching her the names of flowers. That innocent voice stood in stark contrast to this ugly truth. You were going to sell the family home too, weren't you? The maintenance costs too much, Ashley replied as if giving up. The taxes, payments to the garden maintenance company, those payments come from Mom's money. Of course. Of course. Jackie held her head, realizing Ashley was exploiting Mom's dementia to prey on her assets. It's cruel. I'm suffering too. Suffering. Jackie narrowed her eyes. Mom is suffering much more, thinking she's been abandoned by her daughters. Ashley began to cry. Please understand. I didn't want to do this either, but I had no choice. You had choices. You could have consulted with me. You could have honestly explained the situation. You're successful and have money. Because I have money, it's okay for you to use Mom's assets without permission? Ashley didn't respond. What about the will? Don't tell me you rewrote it. Ashley's silence was her answer. Jackie felt despair. Her sister had been trying to completely monopolize their mother's assets by exploiting her dementia. What do you tell your colleagues at the bank? That I'm having a hard time with Mom's care, Ashley replied quietly. Everyone sympathizes with me. Care? Care? Jackie laughed bitterly. You dumped her in a nursing home and just manage her money. I visit her once a week. Once a week. Jackie's heart ached. Mom waits for her daughters every day. In the distance, Lillian's voice could be heard asking Mrs. Brown, "What kind of flower is this?" The pure child's voice made the heavy atmosphere even more pronounced. I'm going to see Mom right now, Jackie declared. But Ashley panicked. Mom might get confused. Confused? Jackie glared at her sister. She'll be most confused when she finds out she's been deceived by her own daughters. Ashley shook her head while crying. Please try to understand. I can't understand. Jackie replied coldly. But this ends now. I'm going to see Mom right now and tell her everything. Jackie, wait. I won't wait. Jackie called to Lillian. Lillian, let's go. We're going to see Grandma. When they entered the lobby of Sunnydale Care, Jackie felt her heart break. The clean but sterile lobby, the smell of disinfectant, and the sight of elderly people in wheelchairs made her stomach churn. To think her mother had spent a whole year in a place like this. I'd like to see Helen Johnson, please. The receptionist kindly directed them. She's in a private room on the second floor. She's having a very good day today. As they climbed the stairs, Lillian held Jackie's hand tightly. Mama, Does Grandma remember me? I'm sure she remembers you, Jackie answered, holding back tears. When she knocked on the door, a familiar voice came from within. Come in. Upon opening the door, Jackie saw her mother sitting on the bed by the window. Her white hair was thinner than before, and her cheeks looked a bit hollow, but those gentle eyes were unchanged. Jackie. Her mother's eyes widened in surprise. Is it really you, Mom? Jackie rushed over and embraced her mother tightly. I missed you so much. Helen quietly cried in her daughter's arms. I've been waiting all this time. Ashley says you're too busy to come. That's not true, Mom. I didn't know anything. Jackie then introduced her daughter. This is my daughter. Jackie brought Lillian forward. Lillian. Helen's face lit up. My, what a beautiful child. Much lovelier than in the photos. Lillian smiled shyly. Grandma, I drew a picture of flowers for you. When Helen saw the colored pencil drawing taken from Lillian's small bag, tears of joy streamed down her face. A picture of roses. Grandpa would be so happy. That night, Jackie was at the police station, filing charges against Ashley for financial fraud, document forgery, and elder abuse. We have sufficient evidence, the detective explained. Bank records, forged power of attorney documents. We have everything. Several weeks later, Ashley received a guilty verdict in court. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison for fraud and document forgery and was ordered to repay the full amount she had stolen. Her husband filed for divorce, and she lost custody of her children as well. The once respected local bank employee had lost everything. Jackie negotiated remote work with her Seattle company and moved her mother to a care facility near her apartment. The new facility had a warm atmosphere, and her mother gradually regained her spirits. Mom, what shall we read today? On Sunday afternoons, Jackie and Lillian spent time in her mother's room. Helen looked forward to the picture books her granddaughter would read to her, and Lillian truly enjoyed the time spent with her grandmother. I'd like a fairy tale, Helen smiled. The same book I used to read to your mama when she was little. As she listened to Lillian earnestly read the book, Jackie felt peace in her heart. The dementia was progressing, but her mother cherished the moments spent with her daughter and granddaughter. Jackie was learning that love is stronger than memory. They decided to keep the family home instead of selling it, renting it out as a rental property. The income went toward their mother's care expenses. The rose garden, which their father had loved, was maintained by a local gardening club. One day, Lillian asked her grandmother, Grandma, what is family? Helen answered while holding her granddaughter's hand. Family is people who care for each other and don't lie to each other. Even if you're related by blood, without love, you're not really family. Jackie engraved those words in her heart. Ashley was her blood-related sister, but she had chosen greed over love. In contrast, Mrs. Brown and the staff at her mother's new facility cared for her like family. 6 months later, Helen passed away quietly, surrounded by Jackie and Lillian until the end. Many people attended the funeral, but Ashley wasn't there. She was serving her sentence. Mama, where did Grandma go? Lillian asked. To Grandpa's place. Jackie hugged her daughter. They're making a rose garden together. The words etched on the gravestone read, Beloved wife, mother, grandmother. True love is eternal. Holding her daughter's hand, Jackie remembered the most important lesson she had learned from her mother. True family isn't about blood relations, but about people connected by hearts that care for each other.